Lords of the Fallen, you know, it's been a rocky ride thus far. It's been very rocky, very up and down. A lot of downs. We talked about it in my previous videos. There's been updates upon updates, patches upon patches, which leads to one thing that we can credit this game for, and that is the developers really taking in the feedback. And that, I think, is admirable. And I got to partake in the feedback. I'm going to show you guys a couple things as we talk here. I was able to give my input on a couple things and they fixed them. So I want to talk about them. One of them is a small but big thing, at least in my opinion, and that is the elevators. So they put out a recent patch just a couple days ago where we can now send the elevators back, because before we couldn't. And I'm going to show you an example here of where that can get really tedious and very annoying, especially if you die to this boss more than a few times. You're going to have to go through 2 elevators every single time. And because we couldn't send them back, we had to pull this lever every time. Who wants to do that? So that led me to hit up the developers and their Discord, and I said it would be nice if we could send them back soul style like we're used to. It's a quality of life improvement that the game really needs. And yeah, it sounds small, but honestly, that's a big one. To me, that was kind of a rookie mistake for it not to have this in the first place. So now we can officially send them back. So we got to give it up for the developers here listening. They're listening, you guys. So elevators now very Souls-like, and we can go ahead and send those right back. Also, the enemy density. The patch before this one, they tuned this down so that way it's more enjoyable, because a big complaint, not just from me, but many in the community, I went through the feedback channel, I saw a lot of people complaining about this, and that was the enemy density. And there was too many enemies on the screen, too many enemies that chase you down because they don't lose aggro. And I tested it myself. I'm going to show you guys some footage where I'm just being hunted. They do not stop chasing you. And yeah, you could say get good, fight them all, kill them all, but after dying a couple times, especially to a projectile from the far off distance, like this, I'm going to show you guys something here, just something wild like this. Instead of having to do that over and over with all these enemies just aggroed like crazy, we would eventually just start running because we're like, F this, I'm not going to go through this again. This is not fun. So I'm just going to run. And that became what many of us were doing. And in turn, it kind of ruined the experience, because when it comes to Souls games, we want to explore. We want to take in the environment and look what's around the corner. But because these enemies were so much up our ass, we couldn't really do that to our pleasure, right? So now they've fixed this when it comes to the enemy density. And it says right here, we're improving our leashing system, further limiting how far enemies will pursue players from their spawn spot or spawn point. This helps prevent large crowds of enemies from relentlessly pursuing the player when rushing through a level. Boom, there we go. That right there helps a lot with this game. It also says here, we aim to have further refinements in Thursday's patch. There's a bigger patch coming, you guys, including reducing the number of enemies present in areas where players most struggle. See, the thing with this game that I felt, and I almost did a video on this, but I just ran out of time. I had some nitpicks and some complaints and stuff that I wasn't feeling about the game. And one of them was going to be this, and that was there were too many enemies in one given area for a lot of the game. Like, it wasn't balanced. It wasn't unique in the way of like these enemies were challenging on their own. They were all kind of like mid to low rank enemies, and all the developers seemed to do was just throw a bunch of them on the screen and say, okay, there, it's difficult. And that was kind of boring to me. That was not fun to me, because when it comes to Souls games, I like to fight the enemies. I like to learn their patterns. I like to survey the area and take them down because I want to explore that area. But because there were so many enemies on the screen, they're not losing aggro, chasing you down forever, especially in the Umbral world, which gets even crazier. It left me no desire to explore, and that was a huge problem for me because Souls games, I should want to explore. I should want to engage with the environment, but this game wasn't really giving me that desire. So now with these changes, I feel like this is a right step in the right direction, and this is very good. They're definitely listening, and I've seen it firsthand because, again, I'm in the Discord and I see the feedback channels. I talk to people in there. I agree or disagree sometimes with some of them. We've had discussions, and I haven't been the most productive in there. I haven't been talking like crazy, but I did put my inputs on certain things like the lock-on. I feel that needs work and stuff like that. So I have given my input without trying to hassle them like crazy. I just brought up the things that I felt were most important. And here we are with 2 of them that we're talking about in this video that are like, wow, that's big time deals right there. That's very good of them to listen to. I'm very happy about that. So I want to give them credit for this. You know, they're actually listening to the community. They've put out a ton of patches, and that could look like a bad thing, you know, on the surface, like, damn, another patch? How broken is this game? You know, it can be easy to think like that, but the reality is they are listening, especially when you go through the notes of these patches and you see, yeah, that was definitely a complaint and they're trying to fix it. So kudos to them. I believe this game also sold 1 million thus far, which is also good news for the team. I'm happy for them. Once I'm done with Spider-Man, I do want to give this game another chance because honestly, I just wasn't really feeling it that much because of the issues it had, not just performance, but the other stuff like we talked about in this video. It just kind of ruined the experience for me. So I'm hoping once I go back to it, I'll kind of get that love for it and start feeling it a bit. But in the meantime, I'm gonna go ahead and leave the patch notes in the description. You guys you can check them all out. You can read everything. There's a lot going down. PC gets them first and then console afterwards, so keep that in mind. But if you go to the Steam page, you can see on the community notes like all the different patches, all the different things they fixed, and all that. So yeah, let me know what you guys think about all this. Is this making you want to jump into the game now if you've been holding off a little bit? Performance has gotten better as well, so are you thinking of going on board with this game now? Let me know in the comment section. And if you just don't give a shit about this game, tell me that too, man. There's a lot of stuff coming out. We got Alan Wake coming out. Spider-Man's out. Mario is out. There's a lot of games. And this year's been so packed that I honestly wouldn't blame you for waiting just on that fact alone that, you know, there's just not enough time. It's not enough time to play these games. But hopefully you guys are enjoying what you are playing. Let me know. And I will see you guys in my next video. All right. Bye.